It's about time we head to a film fest. Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore. I'm here to tell you about an indie film that I saw recently that I fell in love with this movie. I fell in love with this movie because it's about a world I know a little something about. It's called Film Fest. It is a comedy set in the world of film fests. I would say it's a Robert Altman-esque movie that is brutally honest about the world of film festivals. I wrote a series of books, the Ultimate Film Festival Survival Guide. I know a little bit about this. This movie, before I bring the co-writer and director of the film, Marshall Cook, on, I want to tell you a little bit about this. This movie just skewers everything about film festivals, from the awards process being a little shady, from film festival hookups, film festival drama involving, say, dalliances and or dalliances with distributors. It's brutally honest. It's funny as hell. It is an indie film that is going to be on one of my top lists of the year in terms of indie comedy. And if you've never been to a film festival, or if you've never been to a film festival, you're going to enjoy this movie. If you have been to a film festival, this is going to ring true to you in ways that you're going to love. And this movie holds nothing back. So I am so excited to bring on Marshall Cook, the co-writer and director of Film Fest, with that build-up. I don't always do a build-up like that, Marshall. You need to know that.
I wish I had you when we were trying to sell this thing from the beginning. we need to bring you into rooms.
Dude, I mean, what I love about this movie is it makes fun of Sundance, right? Or people that get into Sundance, this sort of like elitism that can be, part of the world of film festivals. There's sort of an elitist, a little snobbery. But it's also the film fest. You go to a smaller film festival, and I've been to some smaller, sort of mid-sized film festivals that are kind of run by a tiny group. You captured everything about this to a T, including the programmer, the woman. She's so fantastic in this role.
Oh yeah, Alison Dunbar. Yeah.
Oh my God, she's hitting on the director of this movie. Obviously, this came from some real life experiences. Tell me where all this came from. You must have had a movie previously on the festival circuit that inspired all this. And I know you worked with a co-writer. How did this whole project come together? And I need to know.
This was about 15 years of going to festivals for me. So I started with short films kind of out of college and went to festivals, big and small, all over the country. And so it was just kind of like logging experiences, but I never had any intention of making a feature out of it. Somewhat recently, I think 2017 or 2018, I acted in an indie feature and returned to the festival circuit with that. And I think from that last pass, I was just kind of like, okay, I got to do something with all this. So I approached Paul Allen Cope, my co-writer, kind of a recent friend. I was reading some of his scripts, which were dramas, but he's a really funny guy and total cinephile. And so I just asked if he would write this with me, and we kind of pooled all of our joint experiences and dumped it into this movie. I feel like we do take a lot of ownership over the world, but we didn't go crazy deep down the rabbit hole to try to get every single tiny detail of every film festival, because we wanted to just make it true to us and our experiences. But fortunately, we found that this relates to everybody, so far.
It's so accurate. So accurate. I'm trying to remember, is there, like, the one thing that's a cliche that I see at every film festival is an older woman who always has a program guide wearing a hat. A fanciful hat.
Right.
That's a cliche. I'd say every film festival I've been to is like, she's wearing a hat, older, alone, like clutching the program guide like it's the Bible. You know what I mean? Like studying everything. But you just nailed every cliche. And what I love about it too is you completely skewer like woke culture in a way that's like, you're not insulting, just sort of like it's it's there and it's present,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh my God. Have you gotten any blowback for that? I love that you like integrated that in a way, like the television show on HBO Max, Hacks, really does a great job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about that, because that's such a present thing. Like, like certain types of movies always get into film festivals because it's like, you know what I'm talking about.
It's a little pandery. Yeah. I mean, and
Pandery. That's an understatement.
Yeah, we have a couple of filmmakers that represent that, where they're, it's a couple of like straight white guys trying to make the ultimate woke movie, and that's played by H. Michael Kroner and Greg Warswick, and they're both hilarious actors in The Groundlings in LA, and I love every time they touch the screen. Yeah, I mean, I find that kind of culture a little annoying, and I think I pulled some punches from my earlier drafts, to be honest. But a lot of this is just making fun of ourselves too. Where we all have our moments, as pretentious artists.
But I love that you see. I mean, I guess that's why it really worked for me, is that you have a sense of humor about yourself, right? And I think that that's what makes it work. The guy who's, why am I spacing on the actor's name, who's like the head of the festival?
Oh, Will Sasso.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Will Sasso. One, how did you get Will Sasso to do this? Two, I'm not going to give any spoilers about the film, but you need to stay through the credits, because Will Sasso does this thing where he's just riffing. He's up on stage, and it's like, oh my God, I've heard people say that seriously. Some of the lines that he says are like dead. Oh God. First of all, how did you get him? And then, like, did you coach him to kind of come up with this stuff? Because it either came from your experience or his own at a small festival, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. I don't think he's had a whole lot of festival experience like I have, because he's more an actor, so he doesn't take as much ownership over the movies. He'll go to screenings and premieres, but so it was showing the world to him and some, and obviously the script. I'm at a point with Will where I think for this one, I just said, I'm doing this movie, so you're doing this part. Early on, early in our relationship, I'd be like, hey, I'm doing this short. Would you mind being in it? And now, I think we've known each other for over 10 years. So he's doing my next movie too, which we co-wrote together. And he just gives you more than you'll ever need. I think that he does that in everything he does. And then it's your job to protect him and make sure that, you're not having him overstay his welcome. But yeah, he's fantastic. And he's so good at that kind of cringe humor, where you're just like, stop. So yeah, he's so fun to watch and terrifying.
Well, so many of the moments in your film are cringe because I've lived those moments. I've been where everyone's sitting in the audience waiting for their award, or I've seen those sort of festival hookups, right? Like, you cover that so well. And also just the drama involving, oh my God, the cinematographer, the guy who played
Laird McIntosh,
where he fakes the accent.
Yes.
To seem just, oh my God. And that, okay, where the movie starts, there's another great thing that is like, this has happened it's happened to me. The movie starts, like they're seeing the movie within the movie, their film is playing, and the projection it's not perfect. That has happened to every filmmaker.
Yeah, that happened to me. I mean, that happened when I took my first film, Division III Football's Finest, to Santa Rosa, my hometown. Big screening with friends and family, and the movie just starts playing, and the exact same thing happened. It was just zoomed in a hair. So the framing, it was just like the close-ups were extreme close-ups, and the unintended haircuts. I'm just like, that's like, and you can't stop the momentum. Like it's too late. So yeah, it's so painful to be so meticulous through prep, production, post-production, to get the image and the sound that you want, and then just to have fumble on the 5-yard line with the projection.
Well, I'm curious, has Film Fest played a film festival?
Yeah, yes and no. So we premiered at the Austin Film Fest virtually. So 2020 was our year to go around, and obviously film festivals weren't really happening that year. So we didn't really get to play for festivals, which I thought would be a lot of fun. Because we right before lockdown, we had a screening in LA. We had like a friends, family, cast crew kind of screening at the Chinese Six Theater in Hollywood. And we had, I don't know, 300 people. It was awesome. It was just like the best experience to watch it in that kind of environment. And, comedies don't get to be in theaters so much anymore in general. But if there's a festival out there that wants to play this movie, I mean, we're down to take it out, even though it's going to be free on streaming platforms. So, so yes and no. Long-winded answer.
I'm just really curious to see how people at a film festival would react to Film Fest, because it so nails and, like I say, skewers like all of these cliches of so many of the festivals that I've been to, especially sort of your mid-size festivals, like Dead Center, I think is one that or Sonoma Valley Film Festival in Northern California, like some of these, or even the San Diego Film Festival. It's sort of a mid-level, not a big festival, it's just like that tiny festival. And I actually, to be frank, I prefer the smaller film festivals, because Sundance is, I think the correct term is clusterfuck. It's not fun to be there. People are there for work. South by Southwest has grown, although that's one of my personal favorites, mainly because it's in Austin, and it has such a great party scene on 6th Street. That's a really fun festival, but even that has gotten so large and let's be honest, kind of pandery. I'm so glad that you skewer the pandery part. Like, I'm just curious also the reaction of the people who are maybe from the film festival world. Like, what did they think about this film?
I'll be honest. I did submit to the Sonoma Valley Film Festival because I'm from Sonoma County, and I thought, oh, this will be fun. They'll find the humor. I'm from there. There's a great cast. I think it's a very fun, funny movie. And they rejected it. So I figured maybe they didn't get the joke or what. But yeah, I was kind of shocked that we didn't get in there. But, moving on. I mean, my thoughts with Sundance and South by Southwest is I'll make fun of them in this movie about being political or pandering or what have you. But I would love to go to one of those. So I feel like I have the same relationship with these festivals as every indie filmmaker. Well, it's who needs them? It's like, they want me,
Right. But look, if they had any guts, they would show your movie. Play the Egyptian on Main Street. It seems like that's the right space. I don't know. I feel like this movie has to be seen at a festival. If you consider a second run or something, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious about, because I feel like we're living through this weird time where comedy, it's hard to do comedy now. You
certainly have to be a lot more thoughtful with your jokes. I had a recent announcement, so I can talk about it now. But I co-wrote my third feature with Will Sasso, which Peter Farrelly is executive producing now, and we're shooting it in BC in October, and that's a pretty aggressive comedy. It's arguably more aggressive than Film Fest, and we have to just kind of keep going through the script and being like, is this okay? Is this okay? Can we you just kind of got to audit the whole thing. But at the same time, I don't want to, base my comedy off of the most sensitive people. So you're always just kind of weighing like, yeah, I know this is going to piss off this many people, but all these people are going to love this joke. So you're always doing the math on that, and then just kind of going with your own gut. Like this is a movie directed by Marshall Cook. So sorry, I find this funny. That's what this means.
See, I feel like comedy has to do that. Comedy has to not give a fuck. I feel like that's because if you're doing that where it's almost like Twitter is looking over your shoulder while you're working on your screenplay, and there's Twitter going like, we're not going to like that. I feel like that's almost all the more reason to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I don't look at Twitter. I have a Twitter account with one tweet that's like whatever thing I want up there, but I honestly don't look at it. I think it's totally misrepresents, everybody. It's this vocal, 1%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what concerns me. And this is why it was so refreshing to see your movie. I'm like, oh my God, a comedy that doesn't care what people think. It's like, we think this is funny. And I don't think that you're like, while you make fun of like, you sort of like this sort of pandery, and that is such a cliche too. It's the, it's the white kid from a rich family that made the super important, very important movie about a very important social issue. Are they really the person that should be telling that story with that kind of money? I mean, I've seen it, I used to think, well, Sundance was all people like Kevin Smith, a guy that like, made his film, on credit cards and made a deal, and sold his movie at Sundance. And no, it's a lot of, it's a lot of the sons and daughters of rich kids. It's a friend of mine said it's a hobby for the rich. It's not something you necessarily make money on. But
movies in general?
Well, movies at that level, I would say. I would say that the film industry has become that, right?
Oh, yeah, it's changed so much. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, there's a question in Film Fest. It's like, how many of us make a living making movies? And like nobody raises their hand. It is a hobby because the whole business behind it is broken. And there's a lot of that in the movie as well. The whole buyer's montage of like what sells.
The buyer's montage, first of all, I'm glad that that's in there. Maybe a little inside baseball, but rejection is always good drama anyway.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can totally understand, like, trying to sell the movie in these, and everything you said is accurate. Everything in that scene, that distributor rejection scene, 100% accurate, true to the business.
Well, all those things have been said to me. So right. I can vouch for it. Yeah.
It totally worked. I'm also, so Marshall Cook, thank you for talking to us on the Film Threat podcast about Film Fest. It is now out and available. You say it's streaming. Where is it streaming?
It should be on IMDb TV and Tubi and those things. I think you just you can go to like Watch Now or Just Watch, right? Just Watch, and you just type in a movie and it'll tell you all the platforms it's on. Or you just ask your thing. You got your little Roku thing, you just Film Fest, right?
Oh my God. I love it. I'm a big fan of Roku, and I just discovered that app, Just Watch. Like, yeah, it's so easy. It tells you all the different places. What I like to use it for is price comparison. It'll actually show you what they're charging on all the different platforms. And I'm excited.
I do think Google does it too, though. I think if you just look up the movie on Google,
Google, whichever
where to watch,
you want to like. But like, I'm excited also to announce that we are doing a watch party with your film, and I hope that most of the cast is going to be able to make our watch party.
I'm sure most of them would be. Yeah, they'd love to. We haven't done that yet, so.
It's like a live DVD commentary. I cannot wait. Film Fest, a movie you need to enjoy, and then enjoy again at the watch party. Marshall Cook, thanks for joining us on the Film Threat podcast. This is awesome, and congratulations on this movie you're doing with Peter Farrelly. That sounds pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, I know it's a dream come true. I mean, he was very influential on my development. I'll say that at the very least. So yeah, it'll be fun. Thank you so much for having me.